Alright, back with another video finally. I got a match I just played against Rabbid. This is going to be a Chaos Turbo Mirror. Okay, here start with Upstart. And then set Dust Shoot Jar. No reason to really set the Book of Moon. I'm not sure at this point if he was 100% on turbo, but the best thing that would happen with Book is like Book a Dawn. It's just not really worth it. Just set Dust Shoot Jar, pass. Let's see the hand. So it's Tribe, MST, Dekoichi, Sengen, Snatch, and Graceful. So I already have knock for the Dekoichi. The Tribe's not doing anything. The Sengen I can't handle in any way, and he has Graceful. So I would be in big trouble if I just let him summon Sengen and attack, so it has to be Sengen here. He elects to just activate the Graceful. He discarded the MST and the Deco, which is interesting, leaving himself with no monster. Which tells me he might have a Chaos monster, and he doesn't want to just lose his Dark to a potential knock. So the cards I know now are Tribe, Snatch, 2 Thunder Dragon, and you can maybe take a guess that the 5th card is a Chaos monster. Okay, here just activate Jar. Draw card destruction, not doing anything. Just set Jar, pass. Looks good. No reason still to set Book. He just passes back. I go for Jar again. Gives me a second knock. I considered summoning Dekoichi here, but he just has too many answers. He can just summon Tribe and attack. And then what do? Use Book. So just go for the set Deco. He might have knock, but it doesn't really matter. And still no reason to set Book. He could go BLS, but if he summons BLS, he's just gonna summon to banish. And if he attacks, it's okay. I will just lose 3,000. And then next turn can handle that with Tribe. He just summons Tribe and attacks, which is a pretty good result for me. He's doing this to play around me possibly having Spy here. Luckily for me, it's Deco. So I draw Spy and BLS. Yeah, the only play here is just set Spy and Book. Still obviously not using card D. Yeah, I have 8 cards in hand, so Spy, Book get me down to 6. And he will attack, and then I'll Book when he attempts to leave battle phase. He draws knock here though. And I just take the 16. No reason to go Book and then summon Tribe attack. Because this tribe is basically if he summons any chaos, I can answer it. Without tribe in hand, then I can't answer it at all. Okay, so I draw Thunder Dragon here, which is probably the best draw in the deck, aside from the pot. Yeah, so just drop the Chaos Sorcerer here and banish. Don't want to drop BLS because then I would have no other dark in graveyard. So I would summon Chaos Sorcerer first, it goes to graveyard, and then I can summon BLS at some point after. I decided to go to attack mode here. Doesn't matter. He already has his light and dark, and I have Book of Moon. So now I have a situation. I have 7 cards in hand, so I either discard in the end phase or I gotta set something. I could also tribute for Thunder Dragon to secure my dark, but with Book of Moon set, I really don't want to do that. I know he has a Snatch still, so I just set the card destruction, which is just a dead card right now. If it gets heavy stormed, I don't mind. He just sets another back row and ends. Note that he didn't use Snatch, and also didn't summon Chaos, which I thought was interesting, so it got me thinking, what could this back row be? I thought maybe it was just he felt like answering it with Mirror Force or Ring and keeping Snatch Chaos in hand. Anyway, my only play here is just to attack. If he Mirror Forces or Rings, I'm fine with that. I get my Dark Engrave. And just set Faith. So now he goes for Chaos, attempts to banish, and I obviously book. It's very interesting that he played in this way, because now he's just going to allow me to flip and banish his dark. So here I go for flip Magician of Faith first, because if I flip Sorcerer first, any Torrentials, I miss out on Faith's effect. Very important to sequence that correctly. You never know when it'll matter. And then flip the Sorcerer after and banish. So here I actually do something. I know he still has Snatch, and I also need to get down to 6 cards by the end phase. So what I could do is I could set Book plus Knock, and then have him guess on which one the book is, which would make him not as comfortable using like an end phase Wing Blast. Or, let's see, I didn't want to tribute Faith for Thunder Dragon, because then that just gives him a really good Mirror Force / Torrential. I could tribute set Thunder Dragon and not attack. And then set Book, but then he can end phase spin the book and then Snatch Sorcerer and run over the Thunder Dragon, which is not really what I want. So what I want to do here is just tribute the Sorcerer for Thunder Dragon, which gives me my Dark Engrave. And basically his snatch play, like what's he gonna do? He's just gonna snatch Thunder Dragon, attack. I'm perfectly fine with that. That would give me my light, and my sorcerers are still in grave, and then I could do more plays. So yeah, basically that's why I go for this tribute sorcerer. And if he mirror forces here, I just book Faith. Cool with that. And again here, I could set book plus knock. The issue is I have card destruction, and I would like to keep my hand as high as possible. It's pretty debatable here. Thing is, he could still have like a Pro Storm set. Yeah, I just decide to set book, and if he wants to wing blast it, let him wing blast it. I'm not scared of any kind of OTKs with BLS. He has nothing here. So he does spin the book. He goes for Snatch on Faith, which I really didn't like to see here because I don't have an answer to it, and he has Graceful Engrave. So this was unfortunate and not something I considered. So he has book, so not Tsukuyomi. Discards Thunder Dragon Breaker, which gives him Light Dark yet again. It's interesting he discards Breaker because he could profitably summon that versus this card that I haven't been activating. And then he could like crash Breaker into Thunder Dragon, still gives him a light. Yeah. Goes for pot. I was also thinking he might have heavy from like even from turn 1 because he discarded MST and now he's discarding Breaker. So I'm still getting more signs that he might have heavy. So he decides to set Faith here. And he hasn't set a monster the entire game, so it's pretty weird that he goes for Faith. I'm assuming he just doesn't have another monster to set in his hand. So I was considering options here. There's some OTK options, but it's a bit too risky through 2 back rows, so I just do something safe. I attack the Faith. I was worried that he might have a second book. That would be really bad for me, but kind of just can't really do anything about that. I mean, I could summon Tribe. I also considered some Snatch book plays, but pretty much every play is bad if he doesn't have book. Doesn't play 2 books in his deck. Just attack and then use knock main phase 2. This is just the best play. Conserves the most cards. So that gave me my Light Dark Engrave again. And then I knock Faith. And he has another in deck, so that's really, really bad for him. And And I just set book here. I'm still not scared of like OTKs. He would have to go Storm. There would have to be some big combination of cards to OTK. He goes for Sorcerer. Banishes. No reason for me to put my own Thunder Dragon here. I have Snatch, I have Tribe, I have BLS. Plenty of answers to this, and protecting my Thunder Dragon means nothing. He sets a monster. I draw a really good card, Graceful. I didn't need it, but it's always nice to see. And I draw Wing Blast, Ring, Tsukiyomi. So obviously the first discard is Thunder Dragon. And now, obviously not discarding BLS, not discarding Knock, not discarding Snatch, not discarding Ring. So it's going to be between these three. And I definitely want to keep Tsukiyomi with the Snatch Tsukiyomi play in hand. And he has Book gone, MST gone, one discard trap gone. So pretty likely that will go through. So it's just going to be between whether I want to keep Wing Blast or Tribe. And I decide I want to keep Tribe because it's a 1600, so it can do damage later on. And I can summon it right away and discard some kind of card I draw, like Night Assailant, Sinister. For Wing Blast, I can't really set Wing Blast. I might be risking like Heavy Storm, and I don't currently have anything to discard anyway for it. So it seems pretty clear that Wing Blast is the discard. Yeah, so I just start with Snatch here. If he answers it, I obviously have plenty of other things I can do. And then I go for Sook. He thinks and then allows it. God damn it. The keep going thumbs up messes up the replay, it looks like. Play. Okay. Wow, that really messes up replays. Play. Okay, looks like we're good here. So I had another decision here. I could flip Sorcerer to play around Torrential, and if he Torrentials, I can go BLS attack if I feel like it, and have Book for that if there's a Mirror Force. But what I decide to do is something very passive and safe. I just decide to knock and then attack with Sook to play around Mirror Force, and I just have a really strong spot. Like, how do I lose? With Chaos Sorcerer, and also this Tsukiyomi, if he lets it through, I have a BLS Ring that can just OTK at any time. So yeah, just attack with Sook. He does decide to Mirror Force this. Main phase 2, I have another decision. I could keep the Sorcerer set, but he still has one knock left, and he has really no way to take advantage of an attack mode Chaos Sorcerer anyway. And I have Book set regardless, so I decide to flip it. Main reason for this is to play around the second knock. And not setting Ring, because if he goes Storm, I just have to chain Book and then I lose Ring, and there's nothing that I want to ring. I mean, I would want to ring BLS, but I can do that on future turns anyway. Goes for a set monster and a back row. So now I have to decide if I want to use the upstart. So here's the thing. I have, if I draw Heavy Storm, I win automatically because I have BLS ring. If I draw Duo, that would be amazing. Yeah, that's basically what all I was trying to draw, the Duo and the Heavy. Also, so it would put him at 4,500. I can still summon Tribe and attack with Tribe and then attack with Chaos Sorcerer to put him at 2,200. So ring on Chaos Sorcerer is still game. And Night Assailants are gone, the Spies are gone. So I can guarantee that damage will go through. And if he torrentials, I can still go BLS attack if I want to. So yeah, I activate the upstart, draw torrential, then summon the Tribe. He doesn't use torrential if he has it. I attack into Deco and then attack for 23. And there was no point of me like overextending with BLS and then risking torrential, and because it's pretty much like impossible to lose if I just keep pressing with this small stuff. So here, there's a decision. I could keep ring in hand still, because I can still always go BLS ring at any time. But I know that he still hasn't drawn any dust shoots, and I do expect him to be on at least one dust shoot. So I decide to just set torrential. I don't mind getting that stormed at all. If he goes storm, I would just chain book on sorcerer and then still have BLS ring. One worry would be if he goes duo, to discard my BLS ring, which is something I didn't think about in the actual game. I kind of just played around dust shoot but played into duo. So maybe this was a mistake. Yeah, so I go torrential because it plays around dust shoot and heavy and pretty much everything, but that can get really owned by some combination of duo plus heavy plus BLS. It's a lot of cards, but so you go suit targets Chaos Sorcerer. I fake think like I'm thinking about using ring. I know he has knock at this point. He goes Wing Blast, targeting my new card. And discards Dust Shoot, which is good to note because that was the whole point of me setting torrential in main phase 2. Okay, summons BLS, banishes the Tribe, and knocks Chaos Sorcerer. I thought he wouldn't attack for 11 here because I have this card that's just been sitting here and very easily could have just been a Mirror Force. That's just never had a spot to be used yet. But he probably figured that he can't win this game if he doesn't attack, so he just goes for it. Here I have a few options. I could summon BLS, banish, then set ring. I could summon BLS attack and then use book on BLS. His mirror force is gone, book is gone, both discard traps are gone. He still has ring left, but ring would make him lose. However, the reason I don't decide to summon BLS is because if he torrentials, I don't have a way to win right away. So what I do is I set ring and I set torrential. He has no MST left, no book left. He doesn't play Ryeki Break. There's just no out to my ring. So yeah, I know that it's over. And the only way that he can survive would be if I summon this and he uses torrential. Yep, I ring and he loses. Okay, I draw not a great hand. So obviously Thunder Dragon. You could summon Kaiku attack, but it just doesn't really do anything. I decide to just set Night Assailant. If he attacks it with Deco or Spy, then sure, whatever. I will still next turn go summon Kaiku attack over Deco or Spy. And that also still gives me my Light Dark. If I set Night Assailant, he goes Mind Con Knock. Those are pretty good results for me, especially Mind Con. So yeah, I just go Night Assailant pass. He has Deco, then plays Knock. Like, my set there looks so much like a Spy, a Deco. It would be pretty hard for him not to use Knock. Okay. So I have a decision here. I could just summon Kaiku attack, and I also could go Storm, summon Kaiku attack. If I go Storm and he books, that's pretty much game over. But the Storm is also not doing anything. But if I Storm now and he maybe change Jargreed, then he can just set all his back row if he feels like it without any fear. I just decide to summon Kaiku attack, and if he rings, I'll summon Chaos Sorcerer back to my book. I'm not sure here, because if I go Storm and guarantee the Kaiku hit, he can just set any monster and kind of block its damage. He can also snatch, which would be a little awkward. Yeah. I'm not sure about this spot. But I chose this line. And set book. This is actually not like the easiest decision. Because Wing Blast would be good versus set monsters. And I could full YOLO setting both of these, but then my Heavy Storm is completely useless. I just decide to go for book and then turn. So he sets a monster in a back row and then uses Thunder Dragon. So what I'm thinking here, so you just activated Thunder Dragon, which tells me he drew Thunder Dragon last turn. So now I have to think about what monster would he set that he wouldn't set last turn next to the Deco. It's possible it could be Magician of Faith that he didn't feel like setting But if he didn't feel like setting it last turn, why would he set it now? Knight Assailant's gone. Deco he would have set last turn. Spy, I would assume he would have set last turn, but as you can see the stats of this monster, it's a spy, which was really confusing to me. Why he wouldn't set it the turn before. Unless he possibly held Thunder Dragon. Like, it's possible. Anyway, I'm thinking this is a Serpent. I'm thinking it's a potential Tsukuyomi with the Wing Blast set. So yeah, my only play is just to attack. He goes Wing Blast, which will put a Dead Sorcerer on top of my deck, so I feel like I have to use Thunder Dragon here just to shuffle my deck. So here I was thinking, again, I'm thinking the set monster is a Serpent, Tsukuyomi, so I don't feel the need to set Torrential, and I also don't feel the need to Wing Blast it. So I just decide to pass, which is a big mistake if this monster is capable of being Spy. But I had reasons for it. He goes really passively here with Spy in defense mode. Probably means he doesn't have Chaos in his hand. But I would feel like he does have Chaos in his hand. Let me just check. He doesn't. Yeah, so that was the right read. I think he has no Chaos because of this play. So I draw Upstart, activate Upstart. Draw Duo. I know he still has one Thunder Dragon left. I'm thinking maybe like I can do a Heavy Storm and then I can kind of just set everything. I decided to activate the Duo. I'll still be at 2600. So I won't die to Spies just yet. And also he's still playing around Mirror Force. He decides to discard Duo. Here I just decide to go for Phoenix, Wing Blast, and Torrential set. If he had Heavy on just my Torrential book, I'm just going to lose anyway. So I decided to set Wing Blast. At least if he heavied this, I would be able to go Wing Blast, and then I have one draw to top deck. Top deck what? I mean, top deck Graceful into crazy stuff. But yeah, I was going to lose with Heavy with just this, so I felt like pretending Heavy is not a card anymore. It does make my Heavy pretty dead, but it's going to be pretty hard to make it live anyway. I decided to take the 12. I have a play where I could go Book, and then if he flips I can go Torrential, but he won't flip. He's just going to put his other Spy to attack mode and attack me with that, and leave that one set. So I'm just taking 1200s here. I could decide to Mirror Force here, but Ring is gone already, so I don't really care how low my life points get. I do have my own Ring still in the deck, but I would only be able to ring stuff like exactly his Spies. So I decided to take another 12 to try and give myself max turns of getting out of this. So I draw BLS, so this gives me a little hope. What do I do here? There's still possible Dust Shoot, but If I feel like playing around Dust Shoot next turn, I can still just draw phase Wing Blast. So I just pass. He attacks, and at this point I don't use Mirror Force, I decide to use Book. Because Book guarantee saves me this turn, and Mirror Force can 100% guarantee on any turn. Whereas if I Mirror Force, he could put 2 monsters next turn, and then my 1 Book can't save me there. Of course I do have Torrential, but yeah. Yeah, so I'd hold priority here. I consider some kind of plays with Wing Blast, discard Dekoichi, use Heavy, summon BLS, but he's just gonna have an answer in hand, like Mind Control, Snatch. There's just too many answers, so I have to just keep playing the surviving game here. I could do something like summon Dekoichi Torrential. It's definitely reasonable. In hindsight, I might actually do that. But setting Dekoichi and getting it mind controlled also allows me to summon BLS later with 1 less card that can out it. Here I decide to set Heavy Storm because of potential Dust Shoot situations next turn. And again, if he has Heavy, I just lose anyway, so who cares? He flips by. Could Torrential here, but he could just have the 3rd spy. He ends up shuffling decks, so he doesn't have the 3rd spy. My decision would have to be on the effect. Once I say okay, I can't Torrential after. He goes Mind Control, and then he attacks, and I just have to Mirror Force. He then flips. I could Torrential here, and then do something like Wing Blast to spin something, Storm, summon BLS, and just pray. I decided to let it go through though, to potentially keep Torrential for to potentially save me a turn after. I actually had a chance to win the game right here if I draw a ring, because I would go Storm, Wing Blast, target his set monster, summon BLS. Wait, if I draw a ring, actually that wouldn't work. Yeah, it actually wouldn't work, because I would need to get the Dekoichi in Grave. So here I decide to knock my controller gone already, so I'm hoping the spy can save me next turn. I put Dekoichi in defense because just to kind of give the illusion that I can't stop the attack. And also, I want him to attack it to give me light dark. If he sets a monster here, I can just go flip spy, torrential, then go heavy, BLS the following turn. I also expect this set monster to be spy, because he didn't bring any spy out from deck last turn, so the 3rd spy must be in his hand, unless he sided it out. I'm obviously not attacking into this, and just losing the game. He summons Breaker. I could let this go, but there's nothing I want him to hit. I'm relying on some kind of flip, torrential, then storm play. So I would basically want him to hit Wing Blast, so I may as well just activate Wing Blast right now. Flip Spy. I could have sharked him here. Since he shuffled deck, he technically resolved the effect of Spy, so he can't use Torrential, but I allowed this. It's just it's a small tournament, so. But he should note that he shouldn't shuffle deck there. He should just chain Torrential to a Spy. Here I have to just activate Torrential. If he has another Chaos Monster, I just lose. Hoping it just passes to me and I go Storm, BLS, and Pray pretty much. But he has Call, so I lose. It was interesting that he sided Call. I was very confused by that. I was thinking maybe he wants to call, maybe put in a bunch of Kaikus that he wants to call. So game 3 I go first. Right, so this turn. You would think that the standard play is just Jar, Dust Shoot, right? But in the mirror you also like setting MST. I have a Dust Shoot to put back any kind of breaker, so I don't have to worry about MST getting destroyed by that. If he has heavy, I just change our Greed and we just break even there. Also, another thing, there's this Kaiku. If I go set Jar, Dust Shoot, MST, I could still end phase MST a Dust Shoot, but I could just set Kaiku. If he gets knocked, I don't really mind that much. If he gets mind controlled, that's completely amazing. And I have Dust Shoot to put back monsters that might want to swing into the Kaiku. So yeah, I decided to go Kaiku, Jar, Dust Shoot, MST, which plays around Dust Shoot for next turn. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. So I go Dust Shoot, see hand of Mirror Force, Chaos Sorcerer, Mind Control, Jinzo, Thunder Dragon, Spy. No reason to send back Sorcerer, no reason to send back Jinzo, no reason to send back Thunder Dragon. Spy is the only good card here, and something I can't answer. Another thing, when I put back Spy, he might be tempted to go Mind Control, hoping that he hits one of my spies so that he can tribute summon for Jinzo, which would make his Chaos Sorcerer alive. I actually thought there was a really good chance he will use Mind Control here. And he does. So my little Kaiku play here worked out perfectly. It's not going to happen very often, but when it does, it's really nice. I know he sets Mirror Force here. That's the only card he could set, so no reason to end phase MST. So use Jar Greed here. Yeah, only play is just to use MST, flip Kaiku, attack for 18, set Wing Blast, set Dekoichi. I know his hand is completely dead. So this is a very interesting spot. He summons Gorilla. First of all, why are you siding Gorilla? Gorilla, call. I'm not playing warriors, but okay. So he attacks Kaiku. So let me go through my options here. I think most people would just instantly take this 200 and then go flip Deco next turn, hope to draw Thunder Dragon and win with BLS. However, I was really thinking about what I can do here with this Wing Blast. I know his hand is dead. If I go Wing Blast, discard BLS. I discard BLS because, well, let me get there. I'm gonna Wing Blast the Gorilla. Next turn I'm gonna flip the Dekoichi, attack for 32, putting him at 3,000. Then on his turn he's gonna summon Gorilla and attack my Kaiku. And then I am free to summon my Chaos Sorcerer. So that's what, 300 plus 1400 from Deco. That would drop him to 1300. So I have I have 3 draws to draw a monster that has 1300 attack, or other cards that can potentially do damage. And even if I don't, he will still have completely dead everything. He'll still be top decking, while I see 3 new cards in this situation. So that's why I decided to use Wing Blast. He realizes this is not a good situation for him, so he decides to pitch the Thunder Dragon, shuffling his deck, hoping for a better top deck that might save him. And I'm completely fine with that. So I draw draw Card Destruction, Tribe. Card Destruction is really bad here. I could summon Tribe to drop him to 1400, but this Tribe is the only thing that's it's like my follow-up to if he top decks something. Like, say I summon Tribe and he top decks Snatch, and now he can just make everything live and I have no answer. So I have to save the Tribe just in case. Plus, if he draws nothing, I still have game. And he draws the best card in his deck, Graceful. At this point I'm very scared because if he draws Snatch, I'm in really bad shape. He just sets 2, so no Snatch. So a few things here. I could go Thunder Dragon and play Card Destruction, looking for Heavy Storm. I could also attack first. However, I was thinking if he has Wing Blast, he'll use it on the attack, and then I'll want to shuffle my deck with Thunder Dragon. But I actually want to redraw the Kaiku in main phase 2 with Card Destruction if he wants to do that. So I decide to Thunder Dragon in main phase 1. And I decide not to use Card Destruction just because I have a hand that is really good at handling anything, and also if his hand is dead, I don't want to give him cards that could potentially come back. Well, I know one of his cards is still Chaos Sorcerer. So basically I'm just making my decision in main phase 2 on what to do with this Card Destruction. If he goes Wing Blast, I will almost definitely use Card Destruction to discard his Chaos Sorcerer and then redraw Kaiku. I attack and he has nothing, so that's the game. Thought it was a pretty good game. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.